Good evening, guys. You've got Mr. and Mrs. Novak, the Novak duo, Novak Live. It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. Here we are.
Hey.
Yes, we've got a fun one for you tonight. We get asked a lot from buyers, especially in this red hot market, as to how buyers can buy properties when they turn up to these open homes. And sometimes, Mark, there's been, I've heard reports lately, 70, 80 buyers waiting at open homes. As a buyer, you must turn up and just be like, how am I ever going to buy a property? It's tricky. So we're going to give you guys our 8 top tips this evening.
The buyer frenzy and how to help you through it. Naomi Young, how are you, legend?
I hope you're doing well, Gnomes. Hope you're doing well.
Just all for Naomi?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's get into it.
There's Naomi, a buyer. So Naomi was a vendor. Sorry, Naomi, if I'm embarrassing you. Naomi was a vendor that I sold for after another local agent couldn't get Naomi sold. 4 months on the market. I ended up selling her property within 48 hours. True story. And then Naomi had missed out on a property that she wanted to buy up the coast. And I said, don't you worry. We're going to find you a property, put it out on my Facebook page, and found her the gun property, absolutely gun property. So it's interesting that Naomi should pop up, because tonight, guys, we're talking about how buyers can buy properties, particularly when it's a red hot market. We're going to give you our 8 top tips. Here they are. You ready?
And g'day to Amanda Dalgetty.
Hey, Amanda. Hope you're well, darling. Hope you're well.
Ex-Novakian and absolute legend.
Absolute legend, without a doubt. All right, here we go. From the top, guys. We've even written notes. We're so organised. We're not usually this organised, but we are tonight.
I'm always the ad hoc one, and Lisa's the organised one. So there you go. There's the notes.
Just for the record, order, chaos, order. There we go. Hey, Anmol, hope you're well. All right, guys, number 1 top tip.
Let's go.
Don't wait for the right property to come. The amount of buyers that we speak to, and they're like, oh, I'm just going to wait and see what else comes on the market. And then they end up missing a flurry of great properties. So, when do you buy the right property? You buy the right property when you find the right property. That's when you buy the right property. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
And also, you're never going to get out of 10 with your property. You've got to, got to get as close to, and I guess you're going to get a good cross-section. You'll go out, you'll see more than what real estate agents will see. You're going to see in that price range, in that suburb, everything, 10, 20 of those types of property, maybe 30, 40 properties over 3 or 4 weeks. So choose the best one, make it work for you, and off you go from there.
Absolutely. And again, if it ticks 7 of the 10 boxes, you found the perfect property. The amount of buyers that walk in, they're like, I don't know, like it's just, I love everything about it except for the kitchen. It's important, guys, to understand that you're never going to walk into the property and go, this is it, this is the one, I finally found it. The amount of buyers that we deal with, and I'm always saying to them, if you can get 7 of your 10 boxes ticked, you found the right property.
And it's such a fast-moving market that you've got to understand that last year the market did 5, 10, 15%. Byron Bay, Amanda's in Byron Bay, Naomi's up in Byron. That market's probably moved 30%. So on $1 million, now that's an extreme. I won't use that. But say the market does 10% this year, and say you've been looking for the perfect property.
Yeah.
On a $500,000 property, 10% means 50 grand. That's 5,000 a month. That's going to be moving every single month. So time is also of the essence. Over to the next one.
Okay, next one. Move fast. Now, I reckon this is the number 1 mistake that I see buyers make. They don't move quickly enough, particularly when it's a red hot market.
Yep.
So they walk away, they go, look, we're going to have a little think about it. And then I will say to them, guys, I'll just let you know, like, we will likely be done and dusted by the end of the weekend. And then they call on Wednesday and say, okay, right, we're ready to make an offer now. It's like, okay, well, we exchanged over the weekend. So move quickly. Get your solicitor or conveyancer lined up.
Yeah.
Have your broker lined up. Obviously, open day, the big show day in real estate, Saturday. A lot of solicitors and brokers do not work on the weekend. Make sure that you've got these guys lined up so that you have them there in the event that you want to put in an offer and you need their advice.
Yep.
Right?
Next one, free. what's free and going to make the biggest impact, and that is putting in an offer.
Yeah.
So people feel very non-committal, they feel very shy, they feel like they may be letting the buyer on, letting the agent on, but don't be shy, stay dry, get your offer in verbally to the agent and work with the agent. Now, getting that offer in, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but they're almost like thinking 20 steps ahead. Don't. Just get that money on the table under the agent's nose and ask the agent what the owner would accept. It's a really simple and a great question, and it means it also, rather than throwing an offer and demanding a response,
Yeah.
it's sort of working with the owner or working with the agent by asking what they'd accept.
You know, the other thing is a lot of buyers don't realise that putting in an offer actually does not commit you to the property at all. You can put in an offer. You can put an offer in on 10 different properties and not buy a single property. So if you like the property, particularly in this kind of market where it is a red hot market and property is flying out the door again, put in offers on multiple properties.
Yep.
So at least you've got your foot in the door. All
Yep.
right. Now, verbal offers, definitely. We do need offers in writing. You can put offers via text or you can send them to us in an email. All right. But we do need your offer in writing. Don't get too caught up on the conditions. I'm always saying to buyers, they're like, oh, you know, we need a 10-week settlement and we've just got a 5% deposit. It's like, guys, let's get there on the price first and then we'll work out the conditions. Unless your conditions are phenomenal and they will form part of that offer, i.e. you can do a short settlement, so maybe a 4-week settlement and you've got a 10% deposit, and you can go unconditional, which means no cool-off period. You know, I would park the conditions to the side for the moment and just throw in a good rock star offer.
The most uncommon thing a buyer does is make multiple offers on multiple properties. They're more emotional about it. I think if you've got the power to walk around and drop offers left, right, and centre,
Yeah.
the agents are going to be ringing you. They have to. So I think getting those offers in is really, really clever. And I think if you can go out over the course of a week and see 10 properties and drop 3, 4, 5 offers, genuine offers, obviously, you may even well get a surprise. You may get a call 2 or 3 weeks later by an agent saying, hey, at the time the owner said no, but they found something. But
and you know what else? Sometimes even vendors surprise us. So, you know, when we use, let's suggest, a guide of $780,000 on a property, that generally means that we are looking for offers over that guide.
Yep.
All right. But throw in a good, strong offer. Don't negotiate with us. Where we see buyers miss out is, let's suggest that, again, we've got a guide on a property of $780,000 and a buyer comes and says, well, can we try $750,000? And I get that buyers want to pay the least amount of money. I get that. But where you're really going to get your foot in the door and have a great chance of securing a property is when you throw in your best offer. All right. So that we, we're able to negotiate hard for you.
And don't forget, guys, when you are putting that offer in, a lot of people say, look, where do I put the offer in? The offer that's the price that's been placed on the property has been often guided by the agent, but really decided and designed by the seller. So sometimes the sellers are over market, sometimes the sellers are under market. So you've got to understand that we can't just say willy-nilly, look, just make an offer 10% below or just make an offer 5%.
Yep.
It really is dependent on where the owner's pinned the tail on the donkey. Maybe wrong, maybe right. But you've got a good guide in your heart, what would be, oh my God, I'd buy that straight away, or geez, that's a little bit over.
Yeah.
Chip it under.
But definitely, Mark, where I'm seeing buyers getting the deals done at the moment are the ones that have actually got their ducks all lined up. So I did a deal a couple of weeks ago, beautiful house, North Curl, guiding 2.35 million, finished the open house. By the time I jumped into my car, that buyer had already had an offer to me in writing, a good solid offer. Terms were phenomenal. Deal was done. Property was sold unconditionally within 4 hours.
Yep.
So, because he did have he had all his ducks lined up and he just threw in a nice solid offer. Okay, next one, follow social media. I know we're raving about it all the time, guys, but if you want to get in, buyers, if you want to get in and see properties first, follow agents' social media pages. All right, Novak, and for me, myself as an agent, and a lot of our guys within our business, they will put properties up first onto social media channels.
It's instant.
Pre-market.
It's instant.
Before they've launched to realestate.com and domain.
To make 100 phone calls takes time. To put on social media happens quickly. We do both.
Yeah.
But if you want to get it instantly, that's the way.
So if you're one of those buyers and you're like, I keep missing out on properties, I keep going to auctions, and I just can't, I don't want to line up with 40, 50 people. If you want to see the properties first, buyers, listen up. True story. 70% of my properties are sold pre-market right off my social media channels.
Yeah.
If you want to see property first, you need to be following agents on their social media channels. Definitely us. I don't know about all the other agents.
Not only that, but Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, they're very clever. When you let them know that you're a property searcher, they will serve up more properties for you. It's an analytical thing. It's you know what I mean. So it's like you're looking at a barbecue. You're talking about a barbecue. Next thing you know, a whole bunch of barbecues come up on your feed.
Yes.
Make sure in social media you're plugging in what you're after. You're following the agents.
I was talking to my girlfriend last night about slides. Shoe slides that you wear on your feet. And next minute, my whole feed was full of slides.
Yeah.
I didn't buy any.
Sounds creepy, but they can listen. They can listen to you while you're even on Facebook with the audio.
That's how it happens.
It's in the terms and conditions. They're allowed to listen.
That's how it happens. So
to keep talking property when you're
that's exactly right. Now the other thing is, here's an interesting one, Mark. You're really good at this. You're a great advocate for it. Go and sit down and speak with an agent. People forget about the good old fashioned. Go down to your local agent. If you're looking in DY for a property, come down, sit with us. We'll show you all the stock. And again, Mark, you're really good at doing this. You will put buyers in the car. You will line up 3 or 4 different properties to show them. I think Lee Woodward refers to it as the central lock. What does he call it?
Central locking selling.
Central locking selling. Put the buyer in the car, lock them in the car, and go and show them 3 or 4 different properties.
And if you're going to make an offer,
heaps of properties that way.
If you're going to make, I just sold one for $26 million that way.
That's a true story in Freshwater, by the way. Congratulations. Yes. I think that was one of the biggest sales last year.
That was #1 sale in Northern Beaches last year.
Yeah.
That was central
phenomenal.
Locking. That was literally central locking selling. But
did you put them in a headlock?
No, central locking. Locked them in and drove really fast. But what's really important is when you go to make an offer. This is significant in everyone's life. When you're going to make an offer, people ring the agent. You don't SMS. It's sort of bad etiquette. You ring the agent. Yeah. Imagine this. You ring the agent, you say, hey, listen, I'm really keen on the property. I'd like to make a good offer to secure the property. Can I come and see you? What's the agent going to say?
Yeah.
Right. So your agent says, no worries, come down 2 o'clock today. You go to 6 o'clock tonight, whatever it is. You go down, you go with your husband, you go with your wife, you sit down with the agent and you have that dialogue with them belly to belly. What will the owner accept? We love the property. And then there's a bit of rapport building that goes on.
Yeah.
What do you guys do for work? Where do you live? What are you coming out of? It really opens up that emotional side to the sale.
Yeah.
And the agent can pass that information because it's not just on a 10-minute phone call or a 5-minute phone call.
No, that's right.
It's eyeball to eyeball. You have great conversation, and the agent can not only take your offer, but all of the information he's learnt about you to the owner and make it more warm and fuzzy. So it's going to make it a more emotional selling for a seller. Some owners are emotional, some are not, some are, so it may appeal.
I think it's also important for us to cover, and this is not here in my notes, which I don't usually write notes, but I did tonight because this is a really important topic. But there's 2 ways that buyers can buy property. I don't think that people realise that. There's one way where what we call unconditional, which is where the purchasers,
like love.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where the purchaser's solicitor will issue what's called a Section 66W, which means that there is no cooling off period. The property is purchased and it goes unconditional at that time of exchange. Okay, that's number one. That's usually done with a 10% deposit or 5% if negotiated.
Yes.
The second way is on a cooling off period. Now, here's what a lot of buyers don't realise, and rightfully so. You can purchase a property if the vendor agrees with a 0.25% deposit. That is 0.25% deposit. All right. So it's a few $1,000s. Let's suggest we're talking about $750,000 apartment. You're talking about a 0.25% deposit. It's about $2,500. That will secure the property for you once we exchange on a cooling off period. Now, a cooling off period is usually 5 business days. It can be 10 business days if negotiated, all right, if both parties agree. So a 5-day cool off period will allow you to get your due diligence done. What does that due diligence look like? That due diligence means you will get your finances. Usually you've got your finances conditionally approved, but you could get you usually at that stage you would get your finances unconditionally approved during the call off period. You would get your contract reviewed by your solicitor or conveyancer. You would get strata reports reviewed, pest and building reports done, that kind of stuff. Right? A lot of buyers do not realise that.
Don't be shy about the good old cooling off period, guys.
Yeah.
It's people feel like it's they're purchasing $1 million property in one foul swoop, but having a cooling off period means you can stage the purchase and take time. Talk to your lawyer, talk to your banker, and even if someone else offers 100,000 more, 10,000 more, 5,000 more, the owner cannot sell it to anyone else. They are contracted to you.
Correct.
It's for 0.25%. That's not a lot of money down for that.
Absolutely. So, that's critical to know. There's 2 different ways of purchasing property. One is with a cooling off period with a 0.25%, and the other one is where we go unconditional and you get your solicitor or conveyancer to issue what's called a Section 66W with a 10% or 5% deposit that could be negotiated. Now, here's the other thing. All terms are negotiable. So even if you've received a contract and it states on the front page of a contract that the vendor wants a 42-day settlement, which is what we call a standard settlement, 6 weeks, it's all negotiable, guys, all of it. So if you may need a nice long settlement, you haven't sold yet, or you're after a short settlement, or you need a longer cooling off period, or you want a smaller deposit, that is all negotiable as long as both parties agree.
And don't forget, price is not that important. Sometimes to some sellers, terms are. So you may be able to buy for less money if you get better terms for the seller. So asking about those terms when you're talking to a real estate agent. So saying to the agent, where is the owner going? Do they need to use my deposit and I can help them? Do they need a shorter settlement? Appealing to the other emotions rather than just price of the seller can snag you a lower price for purchasing the property.
That's another really good question to ask the agent as well. Can I ask you, Mr. Real Estate Agent, what is important to the vendor? Is it price or is it time? That's a really good question to ask. I'm negotiating a deal at the moment and time is really important. For a variety of reasons, right? These people have actually purchased. So time is critical. So at the right price, they're happy to do the deal if someone can do the short settlement. All right. So every vendor, every seller has got different requirements. So be sure to ask the agent what's important to the vendor.
So if you've just tuned in, we're talking about the buyer basics, things that you may not know that may be common knowledge in the real estate industry that we wanted to share with you tonight. If you've got any friends or family, share this episode to them. You will be surprised. You may be able to rattle off all these things and but you'll be surprised how many people don't know these things. So by you sharing
where
it
do you
to
find
them,
this info?
where do you get it? And a lot of them don't want to Google. They don't, it's too scattered. This is like a bite-sized piece of some really good
It is really hard to find
advice.
this information. Seriously, obviously we're dealing with buyers en masse all the time. And I'm always saying to buyers, have you purchased property before? No. Okay, do you understand what you need to do in order to purchase property? You can put an offer in and doesn't commit you, all these sorts of things. But I just think this is really hard information to get. So please do share it. Now, here's another one, guys. If you haven't sold yet and you're buying first or you have bought first, your settlement period is not only negotiable, so you can request a nice long, the amount of people that I deal with that say, we found a property on the weekend and we absolutely love it, but we haven't sold yet. It's okay. Go buy the property. Just get a nice long settlement. So sorry, let me just flip that around. So if you are, you can request a nice long settlement on your property that can be made reducible if need be. A lot of people don't realise, correct, when you're selling.
Right.
When you're selling. A lot of people don't realise that settlement period can be made reducible. So you might be selling your property and you don't know where you're going to buy, all right? And you're like, everyone's in that same situation. They're like, we don't know where we're going to move to. Okay, request a long settlement on your property that can be made reducible. You might go out next weekend and find the perfect property, and then you're stuck with this big 12-week settlement that you don't need.
Now, on the flip side, you may be buying and you may want to reduce it on your purchase. So on the flip side, as a buyer, you may turn around and say, hey, Mr. Real Estate Agent, I really want a 20-week settlement to purchase this because I really want to sell.
Yeah.
Now, if I sell quick, I can reduce it down to a 4-week settlement. Now, that may make it more attractive to someone because you can go in and say, yes, look, I can do a short settlement, but please just give me some time to sell my place. And it may edge you forward to make the purchase. So it is actually flexible, that settlement. People just think it's a rock solid date, not negotiable, but you can make it a reducible, which is a really tactically clever thing to do. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier in the tips. Find out not just price, but find out what's important to the seller. There's other triggers to a lot of people that are not important
100%,
rather than price.
100%.
Emotions,
But guys, the number one way that I see in this sort of market buyers secure property are those buyers that move fast. They're the ones. They're the ones, without a doubt. They're the ones that are securing properties first.
Speed's driving this economy.
And I'm not even saying this because obviously I sell a lot of stock off my social media, but I swear to God, the buyers that I'm seeing that are buying great properties are the ones that are buying property pre-market or off-market, as some agents in the industry call it, and the ones that are moving quickly. Give me your rock star offer straight up. Give me your great terms and let's get this deal done for you. They're the ones that are buying the properties, Mark.
Any questions, anyone? Throw them at us now.
Throw them here. Amal's got always lots of good comments. Vendors are accustomed to just advertising it higher and allowing room for negotiation.
Yep.
Absolutely. Gosh, our buyers are notorious for putting in their first offer under the guide. Please, guys, do not do that. This is a red hot market at the moment. If the guide is there to guide you. All right. So if we're guiding 785,000, we don't mean 750,000. Okay. That is not going to get you anywhere. Not in this market. Yes, we do have to disclose those offers to the vendor, but I can tell you now, when we've got 4 or 5 other offers coming in that are significantly higher, you're not going to stand a chance to be able to secure that property. All right. So move swiftly, be smart, apply common sense, and let the agent guide you. Let the agent guide you.
Yeah, trust the agent, because then they will trust you. Do you know 100%. What I mean? So even if you don't trust them, appear to trust them.
No,
trust the agent. You know what? The industry is actually really good.
We're so regulated, Mark, as well, guys. You've got to understand that. Like, we're extremely regulated. You know, for agents out there, and I don't really believe that it happens anymore, but for agents out there that are guiding well under that market value, you know, we get in trouble. We're heavily, heavily regulated as an industry. Trust in the agent.
Yeah.
Ask another agent, you know, ask a friend, ask advice, ask your solicitor, ask around.
Hey, that's a really good one. Before we sign off, a great tip is to ask the competitor. Ask the competitor, and bear in mind they're the competitor, but ask them about other properties that you may like that they don't have, that another agent has, and they will give you the rubbish on it. So if you want to find out the prickles on something, talk to a competitor. Also, knock on some doors of some local properties. Oh my God,
I love that.
Knock on some doors of some local properties. If you like a unit block, buzz the units,
I'm
2 or
always
3
telling,
units
I'm always
downstairs
telling my
and say,
buyers to do that.
hey, I'm just about to buy this unit. Just want to say, people would love to know you
Yeah.
because you're going to be a new buyer.
I'm
They would
always-
love to tell you about what they love and don't love about the building. Everyone loves giving their opinion. So knocking on adjoining lots. If it's a house, street of houses, the house either side, couple doors down, the guy across the road will always give you the great goss.
Well, I swear, especially with strata's involved, they really
Yeah.
do. I had some ladies. I sold an apartment in Collaroy last week, and really, really nice block. And I had 3 of the ladies, all really good friends, that lived in the block. And I actually asked them while they were at my open home. It was a really busy open home, and I said to the ladies, "What's going on? Like, how's strata? What's the block like?" Oh my God, they were raving. I said, "Can you please come to every open home?" It was great. All the buyers were asking them questions, and actually, it ended up getting the deal done.
Yep.
It ended up sealing the deal for me.
So that's a good one.
Yeah, I love that
talking
one.
to the neighbours. So we've just given you some unbelievable tips, the best tips we know after being in the industry for many, many, many years. If you want to share those tips with friends or family, it helps them, it helps us. Share it. If you have any questions and you want us to talk about anything, pop it, direct message us, and or pop it in here if you like. And that's
Always
where
happy to help.
most of our content comes from. It's from people making requests as to asking us particular questions, and then we'll go live and talk about them as experienced agents.
True story. All right, what else we got to talk about, Mr. Novak?
Market's pumping.
Yeah, the market is pumping, guys. The market's back.
Rentals are strong. Sales is strong.
Yeah.
Interest rates are low. What I really feel passionate about lately is the sea change and tree change has been all domestic. It's been domestic. So any tree change or sea change moves that people have been doing, it's been in Australia, from Australia, by Australians. Our economy is strong on the back of that. What I can't wait for, and I reckon this year's about it.
I agree.
What I can't wait for is when the sea change and tree change starts to, probably won't even fizzle out, but become less important. What I reckon you're going to start to see is an international tree change and sea change. So people that have been looking over our fence, looking at a Sydney, Australia, going, what's this place like? Thinking about a Sydney, Australia for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whether it's China, Chinese, Asian countries, whether it's American countries, whether it's UK, places like that, they are going to say, we don't like where we are anymore. Like if you're an American, if you're thinking of going to live in America, that's probably off the cards at the moment, given what's been happening lately. So you're going, I'm going to Australia. So we're really passionate about that.
I mean, I know of people that have been living overseas and have moved back here. So we're starting to see it already. I mean, Australia as a country has looked really good right through COVID.
Yeah.
I was talking
medically, financially,
phenomenal.
citizens.
I was talking to someone. I've got a client overseas in Switzerland at the moment. She's actually got COVID, and I was having a chat with her, and I said, this was last week, and I said to her, yeah, we had like 6 cases, I think, today, and she goes, do you mean 6,000? And I said, no, 6, and she goes, 6 cases. Oh my God. She's in Switzerland. I mean, they're not doing great over there, but it's interesting, and she's considering moving back to Australia because of how bad it's been over there.
Yeah. So 2022, 23, 24, I think they're going to be big years for Australian property market because the international sea change and tree change will begin. They will come. They will love it.
I agree.
And we've already seen the sea change and tree change domestically, and it's helped our economy.
100%. But that aside, I can tell you now, guys, the market is absolutely pumping. These are not 2 real estate agents trying to talk the market up. The market is pumping, and I don't think it's going to calm down anytime soon. I really, really do not. I reckon we're going to see an increase of about 12 to 15% this year.
We've got to go because I just saw a message come through Lisa's phone from our daughter saying she wants to play Uno.
I love Uno.
Come down. I want to play.
We're coming,
Uno.
Jade. We're
come
coming.
Down. It says come down and play Uno.
We're coming. All right, guys, that's it from us. Thank you so much. We appreciate all your support. We appreciate you tuning in. Hope everyone's well. Take care. Lots of love. That's it from us.
See you. I love you. Bye.
See ya.